With Season of the Deep, we received a new secret exotic mission, and it honestly rewarded a pretty cool one. What you're looking at is the Wicked Implement, a 180 round per minute stasis scout rifle. To acquire this weapon, you're gonna have to go through a pretty tedious process. First off, you have to acquire every exotic fish on every single planet destination. There are gonna be 3 that are specific to the Throne World, EDZ, and Nessus, and once you collect them, head over to the helm and put them in your aquarium. Every time you dunk these, you will get a part that you have to take into the deep dive mission. Once you're in the deep dive mission, you're going to be looking out for these hive statues, and you're going to dunk all 3 of them. Once you have all 3 dunked, when you get to the second encounter of the deep dive, complete it, and then a secret entrance will open up on the right side. This is going to be the same entrance that was at the final mission of Season of the Deep, but you do end up going to a new area. Now, I don't want to spoil this area because it actually is very cool, and I will say you are on a time limit, so you have to be very fast to get this thing. Once you complete that secret area, you will be rewarded with the Wicked Implement. Now, when I first received mine, I was absolutely blown away by how good this gun looks. There is an ornament for it if you were interested, but honestly, the base gun looks way better in my opinion. So what makes this gun so special? Well, it has this exotic trait, Creeping Attrition. Rapidly landing precision hits causes targets to become slowed. So the way this perk is going to work, after you hit 3 precision shots, every single precision shot after will apply a slow stack. From what it seems, it's going to apply around a 33 or 33.5 slow stack, because after you land 3 shots, it will freeze the enemy. This on paper doesn't seem that good because you have to land 3 precision shots, but what's really cool is if you use this on a tankier target or something like a champion, since you are applying slow, you can stun overload, and then the shatter from the freeze will stun unstoppables. So this weapon intrinsically has the ability to stun 2 different champions. Theoretically, you can also stun barrier champions forever because Creeping Attrition will constantly reproc freeze on them, and this weapon can pretty much deal with all 3 champions without a single artifact perk. Now, its other perk that it has is Tithing Harvest. So precision final blows while Creeping Attrition is active creates a stasis shard that returns to you. Collecting stasis shards refill the magazine. This is where the gun gets really interesting. So once again, after you have 3 precision shots landed, Creeping Attrition will activate, and now when you land precision final blows, you will make a stasis shard on that enemy. When it says it tracks to you, it does not mess around. This thing will track across the entire battlefield and come to you. It is nothing like the fragment Whisper of Conduction, and you can expect it to hit you anywhere on the map. And what's really cool is once you collect that stasis shard, it will refill the magazine. So the way I think this gun is intended to be used is in higher end content on things like GMs. You have 2 different ways to stun champions, and every single time you get kills while this Creeping Attrition is active, you're constantly filling the magazine, and that shard will track you from across the map. So you can kind of sit back and just pluck away at all your enemies. Since this is an exotic weapon, it inherently does 40% more damage to ret bars, and being able to constantly refill that magazine over and over again is pretty strong. And another cool little note is that if you're proccing Creeping Attrition, if you land your first 2 rapid precision hits and then your third one kills on a precision hit, it will also spawn that crystal. So you really only have to hit 2 rapid precision hits and you still get the crystal. Now, talking about the crystal, this not only can just refill your magazine, it can also play into your stasis fragments. As you see with things like Whisper of Ram, when it tracks you, you actually will be granted an overshield, which is also going to be very good if you try to make a very tanky based build with this. But you also have things like Whisper of Hunger, so when you collect a stasis shard, you'll gain even more melee energy. All of this will combine, and since the stasis shards are already granting melee energy, you can kind of act that this gun has pugilist on it in a way. And just to test it, I also tried out elemental charge, where if I collect a stasis shard, would I get an armor charge? And as you see, after collecting 2, I actually did receive an armor charge, so it even works with that mod. Now, I did want to go in and test that if you make stasis shards with your stasis subclass, will they track to you like this weapon stasis shards track to you? And unfortunately, they do not. As you see, I make 3 stasis crystals around Carl, and they just kind of sit there. But then if I get a kill with the weapon, the stasis shard will track across the map. So that's pretty much a rundown of the base weapon, but this weapon also does have an exotic catalyst. Now, I don't currently have it, but it says it's acquired from deep dives. I ran a tier 7 deep dive and did not receive it, so I'm not exactly sure if it's something we have to farm for, or if there's another secret in the exotic mission part. If you do know how to receive the exotic catalyst, be sure to drop a comment down below and I will try to pin it as soon as possible. However, we do know what the catalyst does, and simply when you collect stasis shards, it will overfill the magazine. Obviously, that's going to synergize extremely well with the stasis shard already refilling the magazine to full. Now you're just going to get more shots in it. I would imagine that any stasis shard that you create, even from your subclass, can also proc this on the scout rifle, so you can probably expect to have a very large mag size on the scout rifle, which is going to be really good for landing those rapid precision hits, so you can always freeze an enemy. And if you are using this to constantly freeze higher health targets over and over again, be sure to put on Whisper of Rending so you can further increase your damage against frozen targets with a primary weapon. So overall, I think this scout rifle does have a place to shine. I don't think you're going to see people running around with it in normal content, but when it comes to harder in-game content, being able to proc creeping attrition, having your ammo constantly be refilled, again, this is an exotic, so it's doing more damage to rep bars, so it's pretty good for just chunking some enemies down on higher end content. But you also do have the ability to proc that slow and freeze, which again can stun overload and unstoppable champions, and all of this can also synergize into your stasis subclass. This exotic is a ton of fun. It looks really cool, it sounds really cool, and I'm really excited to start build crafting around it. Also, I want to say a huge shout out to Bungie because the exotic mission was extremely fun, and it's something I would highly recommend you all give a shot. Anyways though, I really hope you all enjoyed and learned something new, and if you did, consider subscribing and dropping a like. However, I just want you to know that watching the video means way more than enough to me, and just that every single bit of support from you all is truly appreciated. Thank you all so much for watching this one, and have a great day. Peace.